Alright, the goal of this video will introduce you to the basic features of navigating and using your online science textbook. So after watching this, you should be able to navigate and use features of the online textbook after given access to a Chromebook and the internet. So first of all, you're going to want to log in using your network username and password. Log into Google and then go up to the 3x3 circles, log into your Google Classroom, which you should already have access to. I'm using an older version, but your version will be the current one, of course. Once you get in to Google Classroom, the three main points I'm going to cover from here on out are how to log in to your online textbook, how to navigate the features of the textbook, and how to access and use the more specialized features that the online text has that the printed book does not include. So once you're in Google Classroom, I do want you to use the link through Google Classroom. Our textbook website is called Think Central, but there is a specific link you need to use. Once you're here, it's already defaulted to United States. You need to select a state. So find Minnesota, select our district, which is going to be way down at St. Michael, and I'll tell you a tip to not have to do this each and every time in just a second. And finally select school. We are STMA Middle School West, so make sure that you are loaded in as West. When that is done, click Remember My School, and you won't have to select those each and every time you log in. Now, your online username and password is going to actually be your school network username and password. So the network that you always use with your student ID, etc. We've made it very easy for you to remember so that you can use this at school or at home. So go ahead and enter your username and password. However, if you do ever forget, the general that we give you is called West Student, and the general password that would also work is MS West. And once you click in there, you will be brought to this general screen, and you're going to click on My Library to access all of the modules. Now, modules are like textbooks, so you'll see that these are the 4 modules that we're going to be covering this year. And you'll have access to all 4 of them all year, but you just want to make sure when you do log in that you select the correct module. And the first module of the year is Dynamic Earth, so I'm going to use this one as a reference. So click on that module, and that's how you log in to the online textbook. Next, I'm just going to show you how to basically navigate some of the features, which just means finding what you need to find. So you'll notice that the layout it brings you to is this whole module, which is Earth Geology. So it's called Dynamic Earth. Within that one module or textbook, there are 4 units. You can see here to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I will click on Restless Earth as an example. So if you click on that unit, it will bring you to the specific lessons within that unit. So you can see that within Restless Earth there are 6 specific lessons that we will be covering. You will also see that to the right of each lesson are triangles which look like a play button, and you'll notice that not all of them have 2. I'll use Plate Tectonics Lesson 2 as an example. This unit has, or this lesson rather, has a digital lesson and a virtual lab. And we will be using some of these throughout the year, but not every single lesson we do. But I want you to know that there is a difference between them. The digital lessons will provide you the basic content of what's in that lesson, just like the textbook would, the paper textbook. The virtual labs are a little bit different. They will be having you do more activities, just like a lab would be. It's just all on the computer. Off to the right here for each lesson is also a student edition and student edition audio. There are other features I'll go over in a little while, but just for basic navigating, I want you to know how to access those, and you'll notice when I hover over it, it highlights. This would bring you to an actual version of the paper textbook. So for instance, if you ever forget your textbook at school and you're assigned a lesson that you need to read or maybe do questions for, you can have the exact same copy as what you have at the paper copy that's in school. So if you click on that, that would bring you right there. Alright. And you will notice that when you click on each different unit, it will bring up the specific lessons within each unit, which we will be covering most of these throughout the year. Alright, well, how to use some of these features that are specific to the online feature, they are a little bit different. Like I said, you can use the paper copy. In fact, I'm going to start there because if you ever do forget your textbook at home, this is a really handy thing that you can utilize. So I want to show you how to use some of these features. Well, an online textbook, like I said, printed just like your paper textbook, is going to look the same. But if you want it to truly look the same, you could do this single page view, which off to the left here is just, it defaults to single page. But if you click on double page, then it truly does look like a paper textbook. And if I want to show you these navigation arrows to the right and to the left is like turning pages in your textbook. And let's say you want to go to a specific page in your textbook. That's a handy feature too. Let's just type 198. And it will bring you to specific pages. So you can navigate either directly to a page, or if you know the unit and lesson, you can navigate that way and simply turn the pages as you would a paper copy. This is the identical version of the content, the text, and the questions. So if you ever do forget your book at home, this is a fantastic feature to use. Another feature while we're in the paper copy is, let's say you want to have the book read to you. So it's got very handy features. Up in the top left corner of each page is a little audio button, and you simply click that.
Peeling the layers. What is inside Earth?
And it will simply play it for you.
What is inside Earth? If you tried to dig to the center.
So that's the audio features, which is really handy if you want it to be read to you, especially for those difficult to understand vocabulary terms that we sometimes run into. Alright, going back, you can just click out of that and it will bring you right to your menu view. I do want to show you the digital lessons and virtual labs. We will be accessing those throughout the year from time to time. And you can always use these at home on your own if you do need additional help or want to practice a lesson. So for instance, if you're in the plate tectonics lab, I'll use this one as an example. So the digital lesson, if you click the play button, it will launch right into a very similar version, but instead of your printed copy, it's a little bit more interactive.
You now know how Earth's continents move, the kinds of boundaries between tectonic plates, and the evidence scientists have.
And I'm going to make it full screen so I can show you some of the other features. I'm going to pause that for a second, and that's one of the things I want to show you, is that you can pause any recording by just simply pressing that pause or play button down here. If you missed something, you can replay the specific page that you're on, and then there's the navigation features with the forward and back arrows to navigate through the pages that you might need. Also, over here to the left is a volume button. You can select that and adjust your volume. Just make sure that if you have audio issues, you might want to check that first if it does not work. And those are the basic features we'll be using when we do virtual labs and digital lessons. I also want to point out the page number is down at the bottom, and it says 19 of 19. It's actually strange that it started on this one, so I'm going to slide it way back to the beginning because for some reason it started you at the end. So if you notice that you're not at page 1 when you start these, you might want to double check that at the beginning. And then, like I said, you can simply navigate through the different pages.
You already know that at one time, the continents are parts of enormous sheets.
And so on. You'll notice that I know I didn't play the whole audio as he was reading, however, it does script it to you down here as well, and that's always a handy feature to read it as you're listening and watching. It just engages your brain a little bit more than just simply reading. So that's one feature. That is a digital lesson. I will assign those from time to time, or we may do them in class. Another feature is a virtual lab. I will use the same lesson 2 as an example. So you want to make sure that whatever is assigned to you, you are clicking the correct button. So virtual labs are laid out very similar to a digital lesson, but they offer a few more enhanced features. Also going to make this full screen. The virtual labs, they look identical. You'll notice the same features, so just note that you can navigate through that way. But the virtual labs provide you a little bit more interactivity. So you might be manipulating data or entering information or interpreting graphs and charts or making more observations. So we will do those from time to time in class as well. So just to sum up, the 3 points that we covered are how to log in, how to navigate the features, and how to access and use those more specialized features so that you can use them throughout the year.